Thanks for rescheduling this and hopping on a weekend to share your story with everyone.
Yes, no problem. Thank you.
So I think I want to just start off by like letting you introduce yourself and maybe telling the group a little bit about what made you decide to even look into a bookkeeping business and kind of what pushed you down this path.
Okay, so my name is Kim Smith, and what drove me towards this course, I was flipping through Facebook one evening, and I saw your pretty post in there, so it caught my eye. I really wasn't even thinking about bookkeeping. I worked for a company, and I was pretty much the office manager there. And I did a little invoicing through QuickBooks, and that's it. That's all they utilize QuickBooks for, was just the invoicing.
Okay.
And so I clicked on it and, read about it or whatever. I don't really remember, but I know I clicked on it and was interested in some information. And I looked at it, and I looked at it a couple times actually, because I kept seeing it. And so one night I'm like, well, I was like, bookkeeping business. I was like, I've always wanted to own my own business. I run everybody else's, so why not own my own?
Yeah.
So my boyfriend, he had two businesses, and so I, was around people that ran their own businesses all the time. So I decided to give it a try, and I'm glad I did. So very glad. Best choice
Yeah.
I've made in a long time. So
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. So about when did you decide to join the program? Do you remember the month approximately?
yeah, I believe it was mid-September I
Okay.
joined.
All
Uh,
right.
so I filed all my paperwork like the last couple days of September, and started my business with the state of Missouri, and did all that stuff, and was official, I believe, October 1st.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So then October you started doing some marketing and
Yes.
working on it.
Yeah. So I bought your course, and I went through everything one time, and then came back and started doing all the steps. I set it up pretty much exactly the way you said to, except for
Awesome.
one little detail. I did not use the Gmail suite, and I wish I had. No.
Okay. So you had some problems with the route you chose with that?
Yeah, now I see why. Um, so I not very happy with my email at the current moment, so I'm going to look at switching that. But
Switching over. Yeah.
yeah, but everything else I did exactly. I took did it step by step exactly how you told me to, and it works. It works. It's doing well. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, so everything in there is, the stuff that I found that worked really well for me. So I made lots of mistakes when I started my business and lots of trial and error, and I realized, what works and what doesn't work. So the course does kind of outline the things that I know work. So it kind of helps you guys avoid having to make the guesswork out of, deciding different little choices like that. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
So when did you get your first client? Can you kind of give us a little bit of walkthrough on the timeline of your clients, the client acquisition?
yeah. So let's see here. So my business was official the 1st of October 2019. I put all my marketing in place, mainly Facebook, Instagram, posted on Craigslist, and that was it at that point. Those were the three platforms I was using. I got my first client, so October, so it was like the first week of January. I
Okay.
got a large client. Well, actually, so as one client with two restaurants, they were doing over $1 million in revenue for both restaurants. So that was my very first client, and
Okay.
they needed a cleanup on their books. So it was interesting with my pricing. Luckily, they worked with me, so that worked out very well. And
Awesome.
after that, I had, it seemed like after that, I was getting about one new client per month. So January, so fast forward, so February, one client, March, one client. So by March, I was up to 3 clients, and then COVID hit. And I would say that's when it really took off. They were just, calls. I'd say April, I was getting anywhere from 2 to 4 discovery calls a week. And
That's awesome.
yeah, and then it kept on going, and it's still going. It's still, the calls are becoming more. I think last week I did 6 or 7 discovery calls, and for the most part, I'm turning them into clients. I'd say I don't know. I think there's probably 3 or 4 clients that didn't sign on with me, but other than that, they're all signing on, and it's going well.
That's fantastic. Awesome. Yeah, that's exciting to hear that your business started to really flourish whenever, the economy was kind of in crisis. And that's another great thing about starting a bookkeeping business is that they need you even more so when things aren't going well with the economy. So your business it's such a safe choice to
Mhm.
decide to do this, because everybody needs to have bookkeeping done if they're going to own a business and file their taxes on time. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
so I'm very glad I went. So I was also thinking, so after I got the idea of bookkeeping in my head, I was like, well, I love cleaning too. So I'm like, a clean freak. And I was like, bookkeeping or a cleaning business? And I'm so glad I went with bookkeeping. So glad. So
yeah,
that,
I imagine.
yes.
Yeah. Probably even, I mean, it's less manual for sure. So you don't have to expend so much energy doing bookkeeping, but the pay I would imagine is probably about 3 to 4 times higher with
Yeah,
bookkeeping.
yeah, oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So that's awesome.
So,
Yeah, I've had quite a few students that were into like starting up cleaning businesses that have decided to do this. So,
yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. So, the other thing I wanted to point out too with your story and what happens with a lot of people that I see is that it's what I call the snowball effect. So, even if it does take you a little bit, 2, 3, 4 months to get those first couple of clients, once you do and then you get the hang of it, it's like you just attract more, and then it just starts to snowball into this mountain of clients, and it's really great. So it
Yeah.
seems to happen quite often. So can you tell me a little bit about the types of clients that you're working with now, and kind of give us a little bit of information on what that looks like?
Yeah. So I have um 4 restaurants, I guess you would call them. So yeah, 4 restaurants, 2 construction companies. I have a windshield repair company. I've got just recently I took on I believe 3 e-commerce businesses. So I'm kind of spread out all over the place, but I like it. So let's see
Yeah.
what else. I've got 2 landscaping companies that I'm working with. 2, we'll say 3 car dealerships, and who did I leave out? A lady that sells baskets from Africa,
Interesting.
and yes. Who else am I leaving out here? 2 HVAC companies, electrical company, and I feel like I'm leaving some more out, but it's a pretty wide variety. So
Okay,
yeah,
awesome. Yeah, that's great. So, how has this changed like your situation, whether like from a personal, emotional, financial standpoint? How has it changed since you started this back in September?
Okay. Okay. So I remember the other companies. I do coaching
Okay, good.
companies,
Okay,
and I also do doing a big cleanup job for another bookkeeping company. So
oh,
yeah,
that's very cool. That's
yeah,
very cool.
yes. And I'm starting to expand outside of my local area. So that's really good.
Great.
So, and tell me your question one more time.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so like basically I'm kind of want people to have an idea of how their life changes
Mhm.
for the better with these bookkeeping businesses. So it's been about a year since you decided to take this leap. Like thinking back to where you were a year ago, like maybe mentally, financially, just things like that, and where you are now. How have you seen like a positive impact?
Sure. So like I said, I was working for a construction company as an office manager about a year ago. The hours were long and I only got paid for 40 hours. And I was just like, I've got to do something. I work, never get to spend time with my daughter. Um, it was just draining in all kinds of ways.
Yeah, I
And
can imagine.
so fast forward to now, I was able to quit that job back in um, March, the end of March, I quit, and right when COVID hit. And so that was kind of the kick in the butt that they closed down because of COVID. So I was like, there's no way I'm going back there. So,
Yeah.
um, so now fast forward to today, I'm able to support myself with the income that I'm bringing in. It is, let's see here, I'd say I'm bringing in at least 7 to 8 times what I was working for the company.
Wow.
Yes, yes, very
That
exciting.
is amazing.
It is.
So, and as far as like hours that you put into the business, I know marketing can fluctuate, but the hours that you actually work on your clients or work with your clients, how is that comparable to your construction job?
So now, I have more flexibility. So
Mhm.
I would say I'm still putting in probably, um, I'd say 20 hours a week, maybe 30. Um, I'm still trying to get things organized to where I want them. I'm
Mhm.
training 2 people.
Okay.
I have 2 people that I hired to work with me.
Awesome.
I also have 2 others that I'm training that are beginners, and I really have to spend some time with them on training, so that takes a little more time. Um, mm, but I would say my actual time on my clients is probably 20 hours a week.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. So 7 to 8 times more money
Yes.
and maybe working like more than half the time or less than half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm so excited to hear that.
Yes.
And in case you guys have missed the pictures, Kim got to actually work from the beach this last week. So take your laptop, sit on the beach, and enjoy working with the
Yeah.
scenery.
Yes.
That's exciting.
I love that. Yes, that's always been one of my dreams to not so much work, but I can go to the
Right.
beach, and if I need to pull my laptop open and handle something, I can.
Mhm.
Um, so I was there last week, and it out of nowhere I just started getting so many phone calls, and people are wanting to onboard, and I'm handling all the phone calls and the onboarding. So it was pretty busy last week at the beach. But
Yeah.
it's so nice to I had people back in Missouri working for me, and I could have not touched a thing down there and still made a lot of money.
Yeah.
uh
Yeah.
yeah, so
That's awesome. Yep.
yeah,
And that is the goal, like even if you don't have a team and you're working and doing it all yourself, you're still setting yourself up for some major financial freedom. But then as you're moving on to the next stage, which is what you're doing now,
mhm,
you're setting yourself up for even more flexibility and even more freedom.
yeah,
So it's amazing. Yeah, that is
yeah.
so great. So
I know.
I'm really excited. I have lots of tips for you for helping with staff. We talk about that a lot in the mastermind, which you know. And if you have you used the one program yet to streamline that automated onboarding for new
Um,
clients?
I've had it running for the last 6 or 7 months, and I could not get anybody to onboard through it.
To go
But
through it.
yeah, but the thing with that is a lot of the people that I was taking on are like in the construction industry, and they just will not touch it.
Yeah, they need their handheld. Yeah, not every niche is gonna
Right.
be able to do that for sure. Yeah.
Right.
So,
So I do have, now that I'm, expanding out, a lot of my e-commerce, they're not scared to use it.
mhm.
Um, so I do have people now that are utilizing it. So
Awesome, great. Yeah,
yeah.
we're gonna do a live next week to kind of give some more tips and tricks about that. So,
Okay.
if you have time to watch that, think it will help you. That way, you don't have to spend so much time actually doing that admin stuff with them.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
so
Awesome. Well, we've got a couple questions coming in from the group. So,
sure.
Stacy wants to know, what were you posting on Facebook to attract these new clients?
So let's see here. Honestly, my biggest client that I have, he found me on Facebook. Actually was liked a couple. He's a landscaper, and I liked a couple of his finished projects, and that's how he found me. So
Awesome. That was easy. So
yeah.
just engaging with people and building relationships with potentials, like people that you know you might want to work with.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Very
So
smart.
I'm not having, so I post things on Facebook, but I would say the majority of my clients have come from Craigslist. They find me on there, and word of mouth. That's
Okay.
how.
Yeah, because you have a lot of local clients too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so what kind of stuff are you doing on Craigslist that is drawing attention? Are you just posting ads on there?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just post ads, and I like to put that I'm a local mom, and everybody loves to help a mom out. So,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
awesome.
I think that right there draws a lot of attention. So,
Yeah, that's a great point because people, especially in this industry, they want to do business with someone that they know, like, and trust. So
uh-huh.
if you can develop that feeling around what you're doing for them, they know that they're going to like you. They know that they can trust you. They feel like they can get to know you really easily, and you make it more about being personable instead of about, I can provide all of these services.
Right.
Then yeah, it's easier to get the clients. Yeah.
Yes, and I also try to do like a few little extra things for people that maybe the bigger firms won't do. So it's just different for each client. I just look around and see what I can do for them to help them out. So I always try to throw in
Yeah.
something to make myself different from everybody else. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, actually, and they can tell that. They can tell when you really truly care about wanting to help them.
mhm.
So that's another reason why experience doesn't always matter in this field, because you can find out the answers. We've got the support group, we've got Google. There's lots of things you can do to find the answers. So
Right.
as long as your client knows that you're going to go above and beyond to help them, it
Mhm.
goes a long way. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. So Naomi asks, how many clients do you have now?
I'm up to 22.
Ooh, awesome.
Yeah, I just had a new one sign on today. But
That's
yeah,
awesome. Yay, congratulations on your new client today.
yeah, in Arizona. Yeah,
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Very cool. And Naomi also wants to know, is all of these clients that you are doing, are you working completely remote, servicing them remotely?
The majority of them, yes. I have 3 clients where I do go to their office occasionally. Two of them, so one of those 3 clients, I'm moving him over to remote services now that everything's running smoothly in his office. So not, and then I will have 2 other clients that I go and I actually go to their office every week for like 5 hours a week for each one of them. And I'm training one of my contractors right now to do that. So he's going to handle that for me.
Okay. Awesome.
And yeah, so one of the car dealerships I go to, and they use a software called Fraser. So I had to learn that software. And I told him, you know, when I talked to him, I was like, I don't know this software, and it's an older software. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. Nobody does. So he's like, you're just not doing it. So I learned new software with them, and I go in there and just maintain their accounts every week. And then another client, he is desktop, so he uses QuickBooks Desktop, and I don't think I'll ever be able to convert him to remote services, which is fine. But like I said, I'm working with somebody else to handle those two clients for me right now.
Smart. Very smart. If you want to be more flexible, bring a team in to do the stuff that you don't want to do. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's see. Naomi says 22 clients. Wow. And with how many subcontractors did you say?
I have 2 right now that are up and working, and then I have 2 more that I'm training. I don't know how that's going to work out though.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so
Awesome.
So.
Yay. Awesome. Let's see. I've got a couple more questions. Robin asks, what are you doing to get these discovery calls on the calendar?
So sometimes I do, so word of mouth. It's kind of spreading like what feels like wildfire. And then other than that, I do use Bark. If I see a lead that I think looks good, I'll go after it. That's how I'm really using that lead generation system to get people outside of my area.
Right.
So I'm focusing on that with Bark. So other than that, I kind of, when I was first starting out, I kind of did use Bark to kind of jumpstart and give me the lead, you know, the leads and the clients, because it just felt like I wasn't getting anywhere with the organic marketing, and I probably wasn't doing it right. I'm sure of that. So,
Well, there's lots of ways to market, and everybody, feels strongly about their own ways. So I'm glad, you found what works well for you, and you're obviously capitalizing on that. So
yes,
yeah.
You do pay a little more for the lead, but I've, got my money back. Way, I don't even know how to say it. So it was well worth it.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. So Josie asked if you're willing to share any kind of revenue numbers, what is it looking like for you this year? Or maybe if you don't want to share that, what are your goals for the upcoming year?
Sure. So let's see here. I actually do have somebody working on my own books as we speak.
Oh my gosh, awesome.
Yes. So I'm aiming, so I've had $10,000 months, and my goal is to have those consistently. Some months, mainly, back in January, February, and March, and some of April, those were my lower months. But I'd say May going forward, I've pretty much hit my goal, and I'm hoping that continues. So
Yeah, based on what you've kind of explained as far as your timeline and your revenue and the client acquisition, what I'm seeing is that when you started out, you're still working your other job. And it's hard to balance both. It's hard to get a lot of clients when you're being pulled in so many directions. And so a lot of people ask me, well, should I quit my job and just do this? And that's a decision that everyone has to make on their own. However, I will say if you do that, you will grow so much faster because just as you're pointing out here, as soon as you quit your job or it
Mhm.
stopped when COVID hit, your business just exploded.
Yep.
And it's all about focus and, really being able to spend the time to really think about what you want and do this and go after it.
Yes,
So,
yeah. I could see that. That's what I was hoping would happen when I quit my job. I was like, please.
yes.
Um, so I took a chance. I mean, worst case scenario, I had to get another job.
Right.
But I'm so glad I took that chance.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, there's probably situations out there where some people have regretted that. But I think that if you keep going, the majority of people would not regret doing that.
Right.
And the other cool thing about our situation is when you get a new client, let's say the client's only going to pay you $300 or $500 a month, but they may need 2 years worth of back work. So not only are they going to be an ongoing client, but you may get, $2,000, $3,000 lump sum right there to help them. So even if you only get one client a month and you're growing slowly,
Mhm.
you've got the opportunity to have those big chunks coming in, which really brings up your monthly revenue. So,
Yes, yes. So, not all my clients are monthly, but I'm also focusing on getting more, reoccurring monthly clients. So I'm focusing on that and then people that are out of my area. So
awesome.
yeah, yes,
Yeah, those reoccurring clients are so great if you can hone in and focus on that because then at some point you just really don't even have to do any marketing
right.
because you've got that consistent income coming in all the time and then you get the word of mouth referrals from your existing clients and friends of your clients and things like that. So,
Yep,
yeah.
yes,
Yep.
yes. I get just yesterday I got my client that found me on Facebook. He was like, I'm so impressed. So I was really happy to hear that from
Awesome.
him. So
That's great. Oh, good. So, make sure you're asking for testimonials.
yes,
Get those
yeah,
on there.
I need to
Yeah.
look into that. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you can convince anybody to do videos like this, we can stick it on your website too.
okay,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
so I'm hoping, so let's see here. I'm hoping to hit anywhere from 70 to 100,000 by the end of this year,
Awesome.
and hoping to double that by the end of next year. So
Awesome. Yes, that'd be great. Yep. I think that was kind of my plan. My first year, I think my first year was a partial year. I hit maybe I was making 60,000 a year months and my first full year was like 100,000. Then the second year was 200,000, and it kind of stayed consistently like that for me because I had twins and wasn't really interested in growing and wasn't ready for a team yet. So, but you can definitely keep doubling your business every year easily
right,
if you want
yeah,
to. So, especially with the compounding recurring revenue. So, yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome.
So,
So, Suzanne asked if you have chosen a niche or if you're, still going to keep with a variety of clients. And also, at what point did you set up your Facebook business page?
I set up my Facebook business page right away. I think I have 300 to 400 followers or whatever they are. Um, I'm not exactly sure how that works on the business page, but and what was the other question?
If you have chosen a niche or you're going to keep with a wide variety.
I think for now, I think I'm gonna keep with the variety. I'm working on it down, but I'm not quite there yet. Um,
Awesome.
I just don't know which direction to go, so I'm still
Hmm.
working on that part. But I
Yeah.
will, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with not having a niche. I had clients from all over and it was fun and kept it interesting. So
Yes.
you can always build out, now that you've got a team going, you can build out different departments. So maybe one contractor works on all real estate agents and the other contractor works on, construction companies. So you can kind of develop specialized niches like that too,
Oh,
multiple
nice.
ones. So
Yeah, I didn't think
yeah,
about that. So,
yeah.
yeah.
So Okay, we've got some more questions about Craigslist. I think this is intriguing everyone. So Vanessa said, what do you say exactly besides just mentioning that you're a local mom? Like what else do you say that you think like reels them
Um,
in?
I think so. I put on there that I only use QuickBooks or only do QuickBooks, or I specialize in QuickBooks. Um, I list out my services that I offer, and mm, I I notice that a lot of people get turned off, but I don't know. I think I offer to do services remotely, and I also offer to come to them. So I think that
Okay.
that opens the door up for more people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, I think that's going to be the difference there
Yeah.
myself, but I still get quite a few people that will, do remote work. So,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Awesome.
yes.
Yeah. So if that's something that anybody is willing to do, you can definitely always put that on there. And who knows, sometimes I've run into a lot of situations where business owners think they need you in the office and you work with them for a little bit and they realize, yeah, you can do all this from home.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yes.
yeah,
So,
awesome.
yeah.
Great. And Naomi asks, how do you weed out weirdos from the Craigslist ads? Do you get any
Oh,
weirdos?
oh yeah. Yeah, I do. Um, Not too many of them though. So I can pretty much, when they make, most of them will email me or I get a lot of text messages, and right from there I can usually tell what I'm dealing with. And
Yep.
so I just, if it looks weird to me, I just block the number or tell them, if it's an email, I just say I'm booked, and that usually gets rid of
Yeah.
them. So,
Awesome. Awesome. Great. Naomi also has some questions about Bark. So she gets
yeah,
emails, but she's been skeptical. So when you sign up for Bark, you buy points and then you bid on a lead. Is that correct?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And so what's your overall experience with that? And you have any tips or tricks for people that want to use that system?
Yes. So I started off with people that are local to me. So when I would see a job
Good
that
idea.
was local, I'd go for it. And from just about every person would say, "Oh, you're the only local person that contacted me." And so therefore, I think I've gotten almost every job that I went after, except for maybe one off a Bark, I've gotten. And I know that a lot of them say remote services are okay, but they're pretty much, from what I can see, they're talking about it's okay if, you're local to me to do remote, but a lot of them don't want to work with people that are, several states away or however it may be. So I've noticed that. I noticed that the e-commerce businesses on Bark will work with people in other states. Um, But other than that, you just got to watch and see, like, sometimes I can see by their wording, it just tells me if, they will work with me or not. So I
Yeah.
don't know how to describe it, but
Yeah,
uh,
you kind of do just get like this sixth sense about people when you start talking to more people and working with more clients, then you can kind of know from experience at that point who's going to be a good lead, who's going to be a good client. You kind of
right.
have an idea. Yeah.
Yes.
So, but
And if they don't turn out to be a good client, I just write it off as, I'm getting more experience talking to people. I think that's a big deal there, how confident you are, and the more practice you get, the better. So I
yeah.
was an office manager, so I think I had a good amount of experience talking with people, and I think that helps a lot. So
Yeah, awesome. One thing that I've really noticed too about the people that are really successful in doing this, they're very self-aware. So like as you're talking to these people and maybe you don't have that great of a discovery call one time, you think about it and you learn it learn from it and you realize what you maybe could do different next time and what you can work on. If you constantly are working on things like that and you're very self-aware, then you can only go up from there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so for those that have been on the same timeline as you, on the same journey, but maybe haven't gotten to your level yet, what kind of advice would you give them for, continuing to keep going and not giving up?
Let's see here. I would say it will happen. You just, I know at first I had to put a lot of time in to marketing every day, be consistent with whatever you're going to do. I would put out ads on Facebook, and like I said, I don't feel like I've gotten many clients from Facebook, but I just throw those ads out there, throw those posts out there. Every month I post on Craigslist. There's a local paper here that you can post in. I haven't tried that yet. Just don't give up. It will happen. And when it takes off, once you get that first one, like you said, the snowball effect, it'll keep happening. So I would take the time right now to get everything in place, where it should be, because when it takes off, you're going to be, trying to put things in place and handling clients, and it can become overwhelming. So
Mm-hmm.
it will happen. So
Yeah, yeah, awesome. And so what advice do you have on people that are maybe new to the group and they're considering doing this or considering starting a bookkeeping business?
um hmm. Well, I would say if you are willing to put the work in, the time, the work, you can make it happen. You can definitely make it happen. If I can make it happen, um, everybody should be able to. So, yeah.
Awesome.
I don't have very much advice, but it can be done. I know a lot of people think, oh, I want to own a business, but it does take some time to get yourself there, and a lot of work, a lot of hard work. So
Mhm. Yep. Day in, day out consistency, but definitely worth it. You would say it was worth it,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, I would not trick. This is, like I said, the best decision I've made in a long time. So I'm really glad. I was a little skeptical first, and I'm so glad that I did it. So I wouldn't
Awesome.
trade it for anything else in this world. I can go to the beach and work. I can travel wherever I want to go now.
Yeah.
I used to live paycheck to paycheck, and it's not like that anymore. And it's only getting better. So if
Awesome.
you're thinking about doing it, just do it.
Yeah.
Follow those directions step by step, and just do it. So
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you sharing your story and sharing all this with us and helping other people in the group to see what's possible for them.
yes,
So
you're welcome. Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Yeah. And I'm excited to just to kind of like a little sneak peek. My next goal for the business is to put together either a semi-annual or an annual retreat
Ooh,
for all members. So now everyone will be able to travel to that super easily with their
yeah.
remote bookkeeping businesses. So that's coming down the pipeline soon. I can't
Oh,
wait to do that and get us all together, and it'll just be so much fun.
yes, that sounds awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you again so much. I'll let you get back to your daughter if she's around and hanging out with you this weekend, and enjoy your weekend. And
All right. Well, thank you very much. You also.
all right, thank you.
All
Thanks for
right. Thank
joining in
you.
too, guys.
All
All
right.
right, bye.